All right, in this video, we're going to be talking more about factoring, factor by grouping. Once again, we're dealing with trinomials that has a leading value of a that we are having to deal with, can't factor it out. What we're going to do is notice in this case, we're going to look at ones that have a minus right here. All the ones we looked at previously were all plus. But we know what it means to have a minus there. We know that means our signs are opposites. We know we're looking to basically subtract to get the middle term. And then when we get the middle term, we have to pay attention to whether we wanted a positive or a negative. So we've done all this before. So let's dive in and get started. For a warm-up, I have you doing one from our previous lesson. Looking for common factors first, 6, 19, and 10. Nothing in common, so I'm stuck. So we do our little steps. 6 times 10 is going to give you 60, and that's what we're going to factor. So 1 times 60, 2 times 30, 3 times 20, lost my place, 4 times 15, and there's the answer. Signs are the same, both negative. So -4 and -15. Rewrite 6x squared minus 4x minus 15x and plus 10. -4 and -15 make -19. Same problem. We've just rewritten it. All right, looking at the first two, I can factor out a 2 and an x, giving me 3x minus 2. The back half, I can factor out a 5, but I'm going to make it a -5 because I want this x term to be a positive, and right now it is a negative. So pull out the -5, leaving me with a 3x. The plus turns into a negative, and we've got this. And they match, and I get 2x minus 5. And part B, another one. Signs are the same, both positive. Can't factor anything out of 17, so we're locked in. So 3 times 24 is, let's see, 3 times 4 is 12, carry 672. We're looking to add to get 17. So they're going to be numbers obviously less than 17, but I always kind of just start at the beginning and just make sure I have a complete list. 2 times 36, 3 times 24, 4 times, let's see, carry the 2 off of the 36, leaving me with an 18, 4 and 18, 6 and 12, that's almost right, that's 18. 7, probably not. 8 times, let's see, take the 2 away from 18, give it to the 4, that's 8. 8 and 9. 8 and 9 make 17. Signs are both positive. 3x squared plus 8x plus 9x plus 24. Factor by grouping, can only do the x. 3x plus 8. Can factor out a 3, positive 3, giving me 3x plus 8. 3x plus 8 times x plus 3. All right, so today we're going to be doing exactly the same thing. The only difference is now we're going to be looking for the factors that subtract to be the middle number, and we've got to pay really close attention to which one gets the positive and which one gets the negative. And that's it. Nice and simple. So today we're just going to do several problems here. Here we go. So we cannot factor the 2 away, so we're locked in. So we're going to do 2 times 5 or 2 times -5 if you prefer. We can look at it kind of both ways. Let's think of it as 2 and -5. That gives us -10. So the only way to get a -10 is if we have one negative and one positive. But we already knew that was going to happen because of that negative. So that means we're going to have a 1 and a 10. We could have a 2 and a 5. we want to subtract to be a positive 9. So that means if I make the 1 a negative and the 10 a positive, that multiplies to be negative 10, and it adds to be a positive 9. So I'm going to rewrite the problem. 2x squared minus 1x plus 10x minus 5. Out of the first half, I can factor out an x, giving me 2x minus 1. And on the back half, I can factor out a 5, positive 5, giving me 2x minus 1. Answer is 2x minus 1 and x plus 5. Notice on these problems, you have the option of, right, the negative 1 and the 10. The 1 has to be the negative, the 10 has to be the positive. You can write those down in any order. I strongly advise that you always put the negative 1 first, just like we did in this one, and did negative x plus 10 instead of the other way around, because that way you won't have to worry about factoring out a negative. Okay? The only time you factor out a negative is if that third piece there is negative. All right, so let's go to the next one. Same scenario. We have a negative, so my signs are opposites. One of each. So if we do 3 and negative 2, we get negative 6. 1 and 6 with one of them negative. 2 and 3 with one of them negative. Now, here is where it's really important for you to know what it is we're trying to do to get the 5. Because I want you to notice 2 plus 3 is 5, and 6 minus 1 is 5. So both numbers work if we're not paying attention about how we have to get the 5. In this case, since this is a negative 6, we know one of them's positive, one of them's negative, which means when I combine them together, they're going to subtract. So it is not the 2 and the 3, because those will not add to be negative 5 if one of them only is negative. So we're going to want the 6 to be the negative and the 1 to be the positive, because that equals negative 5. Okay. If you have one of these positive, one of these negative, again, that doesn't end up being a 5. That ends up being either a negative 1 or a positive 1. All right, so we have our answer. Like I was saying a minute ago, we have the option of which order to put these in. So for the first time you've seen me do this, I'm going to switch the order. I'm going to put 3x squared, and then I'm going to put the minus 6x in. And then I'll put the plus 1x and the minus 2. Because making this term negative compared to this term, then I don't have to deal with factoring out a negative. All right, I can factor out a 3x, giving me x minus 2. Notice I don't have to factor anything out of this one. I can call it a plus 1 times x minus 2. And then I factor the x minus 2 out, and I get 3x plus 1. All right, your job now is to do 4 problems, I think is what I've got here. 5 problems, and see if you've got this down. So go ahead and pause the video and pick it up in a little bit. All right, step 1, check to see if anything factors out. 2, 9, and 5, no chance. Next, we just accept our fate and get to work. We have a negative, so it's 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. I know my signs have to be opposites. That is key, and I'm trying to subtract to get a 9. So I think we basically just did this one, or one very much like it, because here we are again. We have a 10 and a 1, and a negative 10 and a positive 1 will get the job done. That makes negative 10, and combined together makes negative 9. I'm going to put the negative 1 first. 2x squared minus 10x plus 1x minus 5. Factor out a 2x. Factor out nothing, a positive 1. And I get x minus 5 times 2x plus 1. Number 2. Can't factor anything out, so I'm stuck with it. I get negative 6 when I multiply together. I feel like we just did this problem. 1 and 6, 2 and 3. My signs are supposed to be opposites, so I'm looking to subtract to get a positive 5. So that means the 1 is negative, the 6 is positive. That'll get us a positive 5. 2 and 3 will not work because our signs are not the same, so we're not adding. All right, so let's drop it in. The negative one's going to go first to make my life easier. Negative 1x plus 6x minus 2. Group. Factor out only an x, 3x minus 1. Factor out a 2, giving me 3x minus 1. My answer is done. Number 3, can't factor anything out. Multiply together, I get negative 6. 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Opposite signs again. And so this time I'm looking to get a negative 6 and subtract to get a negative 1. So that's obviously now going to be the 2 and the 3. Positive 2 and negative 3 will get me my negative 1. Let's put the negative number first. So 6x squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 1. Group. Factor out a 3x. Factor out a nothing, so let's put a plus 1. Doesn't change anything. And now I've got 2x minus 1 times 3x plus 1. All right, 12, 11, 15. Can't factor anything out to make it smaller, so I'm stuck. And it looks like my signs are going to be opposites again. And this time I'm doing, let's see, 12 and 15. Let's grab Mr. Calculator just to make this go faster. 12 times 15. So it's negative 180. I'm looking to subtract to get an 11 because, again, my signs are going to be opposites. So let's play our game. 1 and 180, 2 and 90, 3 and, let's see, what, 60, 4 and 45, 5 and, let's see, 5 goes into 18 3 times. Carry the 3, 36. Still don't subtract to be 11, so we got to keep going. 6 is going to work. 6 and 30. 7 probably won't work. Let's try 8. 8 is not going to work. I know 8's not going to work again for my little tricks. I'm looking at 4 times. If 8 works, then 45 would have to have a 2 in it because I'm going to steal that 2 to make it a 4 times 2 and an 8. So the fact that that is not even means 8's not going to work. But 9 will work. Let's see, 9 times what? 9 times 20. And there we go. Signs are opposites, so plus 20 and negative 9 because I want the answer to be positive 11, not negative 11. All right. Figure that out here. It's easier to get the signs right here than it is after you drop them in. Excuse that sound. All right, so here we go. Let's play our game. 12x squared. The negative one needs to go first. Negative 9x plus 20x minus 15. Group. A 3 and an x, giving me 4x minus 3. So here I'm going to factor out a 5, a positive 5, giving me 4x minus 3. All right, looks like it's going fine. And our last problem, 10, 19, and 12. Again, no common factors. So I multiply together, I get 120 negative. Signs are going to be opposites. All right, 1 and 120, 2 and 60, 3 and 40, 4 and 30, 5, and let's see what. 5 goes into 12 two times. Carry the 2, 24. And let's keep in mind we're trying to get a 19, and these are 19 apart. Negative 24 and positive 1 because I need, or positive 5 because I need it to be a negative 19. All right, let's drop it in with the 24 going first. So 10x squared minus 24x plus 5x minus 12. I can only factor out a 2 and an x, leaving me with 5x minus 12. And, I can't factor anything out but a 1, which is fine because it's already a 5x minus 12. The answer is 5x minus 12 times 2x plus 1. All right, I hope the repetition that you've seen me go through has really helped you understand what's happening, that the rules are very predictable. We just have to learn them and apply them. Don't get bogged down. I've seen many of you try to answer these without making a list, like I've done on every single problem. If you know the numbers, you can see them right away, then don't write the list. But if you have to struggle for a minute, just start making the list and the answer should be there. All right. If you have questions, schedule some SST time or come see me before, after, or during class.